right. Let's do it.
I'm super excited. Okay, the name of the show is Black Friend Etiquette. I don't know how to introduce this show. And Neil, do you remember what I said to you when I wanted to do this show?
I remember we were in your living room and you were telling me about everything that was going on, kind of
Yeah.
what you were feeling, what you were thinking um, at that very moment. And you had mentioned that you wanted to, I think you were thinking about writing it out at the moment. And then you even threw like, I want to do a podcast maybe. And I remember saying like that would be a good idea for you to do something like that, get your opinion out there, get your thoughts and ideas out there. And I remember thinking we were talking about etiquette with my like black friends,
Yeah.
and because we were talking about specifically a situation that happened at our office
Yeah.
involving me and a good friend of mine or ours, and I was like, man, I was like, I just wish. I think I even said, I was like, I wish there was not a manual, but like
Yeah.
some etiquette, like teach me some etiquette. Like I didn't know that was wrong for me to say that. Does that make sense? Even though I have black friends, love my black friends, and I
Right.
mean, so I think
Yeah.
that's where it came from.
So I did start writing the show, and I started
Mm-hmm.
writing like all the like bullet points, like you've seen my notes and stuff. And it's so detailed and it was so heavy. Like I was just crying, like writing the show. And I got
Mm-hmm.
to, and it was like, it's been months of work that I've been working on the show. But then I got to a point where I started to feel a lot better. And I think just
Mm-hmm.
me writing it all out
Yeah.
was like more than half of the healing process.
Yeah.
I think just getting it out. So like if I didn't get it out on a show or like a podcast, I could get it out on, at least I got it out on paper. Because going back and reading my notes when I was like, okay, like Neil, I'm ready to film, it was like it's just so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided I wanted to like mix it in. Like we'll do some heavy topics and we'll do some more lighthearted stuff. That way it's not just so heavy, 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 because that's not like really how we are. Like you and I as just as friends, it's not like all heaviness and
Yeah.
sadness. Like we rarely have like super like heavy times, like
Yeah.
for
Once in a
prolonged
while.
once, yeah, once in
Once
a
in a
while. Yeah, we're gonna talk
a
about that. Okay.
couple, maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah, once or twice a year we'll have those times, but that's not like our day-to-day normal. And
Yeah.
so I didn't want the show to like be that heavy. So we'll figure out how to like sprinkle it in as we go.
Absolutely. And I think it'll be good to I think it'll be a good tool for people that listen to it. Specifically, I mean, or anyone that listens to it, I think it'll be a good tool for them to get educated, um, learn a little bit more about you, myself, the show, and a lot more, and be able to engage on the topics that you're going to be going over or bringing up, and be able to have a platform for people to ask questions too, and honestly, be able to ask questions like no filtered questions, and
Eesh. Yeah. Ugh.
like just we
Yeah.
bring it on. We'll bring it onto the show.
Yeah, that's what I want to have too. And I did want a place for people to be able to ask questions like our friends and ask those
Absolutely.
uncomfortable questions that they like don't know how to ask. And they also like maybe they don't have any other black friends that they can go ask, but they know me or they know, they know you and they're like they feel comfortable enough just asking any question that they wouldn't normally ask.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that I'm not gonna like try and have them canceled off every platform. Like they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay. It's really important to me. Like that's one way, the only way that I know how to like bridge this gap. So it's part like helping me just heal and
Mm-hmm.
get through stuff, but also like helping other people understand um how their words affect people. And it's going to be different. Like the things that I have experienced are going to be might be slightly different from what you've heard other black people talking about, and that's okay. Like my whole thing about wanting to do this was that to let people know that not all black people are exactly the same. We have different backgrounds. We live in different cities. We grow up with different demographics of people. So my experiences are going to be different.
But
But
that
I think it's
also,
okay.
it's great. But that also is not just Black people too. That's
Yeah, yeah,
Hispanic communities. But right now,
right.
specifically my Black friends.
And we can mix it in. We can mix in some Hispanic stuff too, because I'm Black and
Yeah.
Mexican,
Yeah.
and you're tell them what you are. Tell them what your nationality is.
Salvadorian and Black. Just kidding.
Somebody just found out they're Black last year. His name
2020.
his name is Neil Sandoval. Welcome to the club, bro. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. So yeah, that's for real. I can't wait to share that story. Okay, cool. So I also wanted to talk about hair on the show because that's super important. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah,
my favorite topic.
And I think it's going to be good because we're obviously both in two different situations.
Hair situations.
Yeah, specifically with our hair, we're in two very different lifestyles of hair. So I think it'll be good to talk about that. Maybe we could talk about your beauty regimen.
Yeah, we can totally. Oh man,
we could talk about that.
On point right
now. Yeah. I think that would be really fun. Oh, and there's some other things too. I want to talk about. We're just going to talk about random, like, I really don't like this term, but I don't know another word. I want to talk a lot about microaggressions.
Okay.
So,
elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay, so microaggression is like, I don't know the technical definition. Actually, maybe I should look that up. Can you look that up real quick?
Got you. Let me look it up.
Because I want to make sure that I say exactly what it is.
So microaggression is a term used for brief and commonplace daily verbal, behavioral, or environmental indignities, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative attitudes toward stigmatized or culturally marginalized groups.
Okay.
So that's a lot.
That is a lot. So
how do you put that in a nutshell? Like just like
this is right. So that's the definition of it. And so I'm going to share as we go throughout the show different things that I've experienced, and they're small things. That's why they're called microaggressions. But with the things that I've experienced, they're not things that I have been like, oh my gosh, like it doesn't wreck my entire day or anything like that. Because before, I'm going to just say like pre George Floyd and then like post George Floyd, because that was like the big separation of like all these moments that I was having, all these like epiphanies and all these going through this really dark time was separated by that moment in the summer of last year. Okay, so before, like microaggressions, I can't say that they didn't bother me, but I had no reference for why they like made me feel some kind of way. I just didn't know how to express like, hey, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Maybe don't say that. I had no like historical context. I had no reason for why those things bothered me. I really didn't know why. I was not educated. I guess you could call me not woke. I just didn't know. I didn't grow up in a household where we talked about Black history all the time. I just, in school, we didn't talk about it very much or in depth. It was not ingrained in me. And so there's that. But now after George Floyd, having educated myself and learned a bunch of new stuff that I wish I would have known sooner. Now I notice it more, which bothers me that I notice it, but I'm just learning how to work through it. I'm trying to get back to a place where it doesn't bother me, but I have the verbal skills to be able to kind of check somebody on it. And not in a rude way, not in a way that's like trying to belittle someone or make them feel like crap, but just in my close circle. I can't conquer the whole world or like deal with the whole world. I'm not going to do that. Some people are not worth the effort. But like with my close friends, like I got to let them know like, hey, like that's kind of not cool. Can you just not do it?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I'll give a little example of a microaggression. So I was at the doctor's office. I'm 6 months pregnant, by the way, right now as we're doing this on January 29th. Thank you. So I was at the doctor. I'm seeing this brand new doctor that I haven't seen before. And so because of COVID, we had to switch doctors. They were only allowing one doctor in our county to deliver babies. So I had to switch, which is it was a nightmare. Like finding that out, you have to switch doctors halfway through your pregnancy is not super fun. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I go to meet this new doctor, and my original doctor was black, happened to be black, and my new doctor was a white guy. And I didn't think anything of it. I've grown up around white people my whole life, like not a big deal. So I go to this new doctor, and now we're in post George Floyd world. So I'm hyper aware of microaggressions now, which again is annoying, but that's just what I'm dealing with right now. So we go through the appointment, and at the end he comes out into the lobby. Oh, by the way, you know how you go to the doctor's office and you fill out like 20 minutes of paperwork? So I'd already done all that, like my whole history. My husband is white, so I had filled out all of that, our family history, everything. And so he comes out into the lobby. It's like right before lunch, so I think he was like on his way out. But still, I was like in the lobby by myself, waiting for the nurse to come out and give me some paperwork. And so he comes out and he goes, "Is your boyfriend black?" I was like, I was like, "My husband is white," and it threw me for a loop, because here's why. Because I want to break this down real quick.
Yeah.
No, that's not an offensive question. But the thing is, he was assuming that I was unmarried. I had my wedding ring on. He was assuming that I was an unwed mother coming in to his office. And so that, just because I didn't have my husband there with me, even though I had talked about my husband throughout the appointment, I'd filled out on the paperwork that I was married. And so that's a small example where I was like, why are you assuming? And again, I haven't talked to him about it. So I don't know if he made that assumption just because I was black. He just assumed that I was with somebody that was black. Okay, that's okay, fair assumption, whatever. But then also the assumption that I was not married, which is like a stereotype. That's like of like black women not being married. The statistics are not in our favor for being married.
Yeah.
That was like one little just annoying example of assumptions that get made about black people. And so I let it slide, and I told my husband about it. He's like, "What you should have said was, my husband is black, but my husband is white, but my boyfriend is black." He's like, "You should have said that to the doctor," which I thought was funny, but I didn't think of it in the moment. But so that was just one little example. But there's things that happen like that all the time. Like today, I just went to I went to a chiropractic appointment, and the doctor, as she was assessing me, she was on my backside, assessing like lining up my back and stuff. Hi, Pumpkin. Okay, go. Okay, well, my daughter just walked in, so this is how it's gonna be. You're hungry? Can you go ask Daddy for a snack? Okay. I will. She's like doing an assessment. This is the first time that I had met with her. First time ever meeting her. Never talked to her on the phone. My husband's the one that set up the appointment. First time ever meeting her. So my hair was curly and it's down. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, your hair's so curly and beautiful," and proceeds to grab my hair like this and run her fingers through my hair.
With or without permission?
Oh, without permission.
Wow.
Weird, right? It's weird. Let's take race out of it for a second.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to do to someone you just met. And if she had asked to touch my hair, I would also think that would be weird. I've never, ever on the first meeting of somebody thought like, I'm just going to reach out and like touch their hair. But I'm complimenting them, so it's okay that I just reach out and touch them. It just happened today. And I could not believe it. I can't think of another time where that's happened to me before. but it's something that I had read about before. And again, now it's on my radar, which it bugs me because I know I know that I'm having these moments, and because I'm aware of them, partially they're happening because I'm so aware of them, and partially they're happening because those are things that happen to Black people and brown people, where white people just feel the need to like do whatever they want or say whatever they want. Not all, but there's some that you come across that it's just a little, it's cringy. That's what I call it. It's just really cringy. Like, I don't think the lady was racist at all. And she was actually really cool. Despite that cringy moment, she was really cool and really nice. And I actually still want to go see her again. Like, that's how cool she was. So those are moments where you have to, as a Black person or black or brown person, you have to decide, like, is this person even worth confronting? Is it worth bringing this up? Do I just let this go? You have to go through this mental game every time something like that happens. Is it worth it to even bring this up, or do I let it go? And a lot of the times, I'll let it go. The closer the person is to me, the more I'll feel the need to bring it up because that person is close. But if they're just like some, random person, then I'm not going to really engage with it. But anyway, those are two examples of microaggressions. So if you find yourself meeting a Black person for the first time, Black Friend Etiquette tip number 1, do not reach your hand out and touch their hair. Don't reach out and touch them at all. That's just etiquette for life. Let's just take race out of this for a second. I know that's a Black Friend Etiquette tip. Let's just take that out for a second. Don't reach out and touch people when you first meet them, unless it's a handshake. And also, it's
personal space.
It's called personal space. It's called personal space. So anyway, I feel better getting that off my chest with just those two little examples. So
that's really good, man. That happened today.
It happened today.
Wow.
2:00 today.
So those two examples, which one offended you the most?
I think the doctor.
Why? Was it because it's a male or a female, or that has nothing to do with it?
It was the assumption. Oh, I looked at it both. I tried to look at it from all the different ways that I could. So I thought maybe this doctor knows that I don't know if I call it a statistic or a stereotype. I don't know. Of Black women that are unmarried. It's not by choice. It's not like they're not wanting to get married, but that are just not married. I don't know if he knew that statistic, and so he assumed that I wasn't married, or he's the kind of person that, so I was talking to my husband about this. He's like, well, I always assume that somebody's dating unless they tell me that they're married. And I was like, okay, maybe he went that route with it. And so I tried to look at it both ways. And then with the Black boyfriend part, it's like the two of those things together that he said is what made the comment offensive. I tried not to take offense to it. And I know if he had probably asked another Black person, most Black people would be slightly offended by that. But I tried really hard not to take offense to it. It's just, I don't know. I think just the assumption that I came in single, 6 months pregnant by myself, like in this white neighborhood, that I was just this like single mom walking in off the street by myself. I really don't know what he was thinking. I really don't know. And so that's, yeah. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question sort of?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was really strange. It was really strange to be asked that question.
Way random.
Way random.
Gosh.
It's way random.
How? So, again, two scenarios. You said you weren't as inferior. You were more annoyed at the doctor.
Yeah. I was more
And
annoyed at the doctor.
you said the one that touched your hair was a woman.
Yeah, she was a woman.
Do you think that played any role? Because she's female, he's male, and
Oh, well, probably. Yeah, if it
that
had been a
he they
man.
that he's a white man, and then it's a female.
Oh, if it had been a man, I for sure would have been even more offended. I for sure would have been I would have been a lot more shocked. And I probably would have done one of these like, are you touching me? Like I would have done one of these or
Yeah,
like what is that? Why are you
yeah,
touching?
I would do the same thing.
Like
To my
this
bald head.
right, did I come into the hair salon? Cuz I'm pretty sure I'm here for like deal with my bones. I don't know why you're touching my hair. There's nothing up here for you. I came here for lower back pain. There's nothing up here for you to be messing with or touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it for sure made a difference. It for
Okay.
sure made a difference that it was a woman.
All right.
And we had already clicked. Like her and I, like we got along right off the bat. She was super funny. We were cracking jokes and stuff. And so I liked her already, which made it difficult when she did that. I was like, oh gosh. So then like even though we were joking around, the whole time I was waiting for her to like make another cringy comment. And thankfully she didn't, but that's sort of what happens. Your trust in people gets a little bit shaken because you're like, dang, I don't want to have to keep my defenses up the whole time.
Yeah.
When
100%.
I'm with somebody or when I'm at the doctor, it's kind of.
Now, do you think you'll be able to build not a relationship, but I guess maybe essentially you do want that with your doctor that's going to be delivering your baby.
Mm-hmm.
But you said we were already like, we were hitting it off, we were joking around. Do you think that would happen with doctor that asks you, are you married? I mean, is your boyfriend Black?
Do I think?
Would you feel like you would be able to build like a good relationship like that? Like you guys could start joking around, laughing, shooting the breeze. And if not, why? Let me elaborate on that.
That's a good question. So I'll tell you how I'm feeling right now is super uncomfortable about going back to see this doctor.
Okay.
Because I just don't like the assumptions. I don't like that. Like as a patient, majority of his patients are white. And so I don't want to be treated like the one Black person that he's ever met in his life and he doesn't know how to behave because he's not used to it or the city that we live in or whatever. And so I'm already just uncomfortable about what other assumptions he might have in his back pocket that he's going to throw out. Now some things are good. Like one thing that he was really up on was sickle cell anemia, which is a really common disorder that occurs among African American people. So he was really up on that and wanted to make sure that I got tested for it. So he was really like in the zone with that stuff. Things that are really common among African American people to get or pass along to their kids. So that I really appreciated. Like it just showed me that he did care and that he was a good doctor to even bring those things up. But it's just mixed in with like little bits of crap, like all in there. So I don't know, but I'm there. And I thought about like, should I bring this up to him? And, talking to my husband, he's like, I don't know. What if you bring it up and then he's nervous and then it makes him nervous or shaky about giving you advice because he doesn't want to mess up or he doesn't want to say the wrong thing. And I don't know him well enough. Like literally this was on our first visit to this doctor where he said that to me. So, I'm going to give him another chance. And if he says something off mark to me again, then I'll bring it up. But I just want to let this one slide. And because he's and honestly, I think it's partly too, because he's my only option. I don't have it's not like I can go back to my other doctor and have him deliver my baby. I can't. It's just not an option. Like he's literally the only doctor that is allowed to deliver my baby,
Wow.
which is crazy, but that's what we have to deal with because of COVID. So,
Are you going to do anything different the next time you go in?
yeah, I'm going to wear a bigger ring. I'm probably going to bring Derek with me.
Okay.
So that they can meet.
Okay.
And Derek and I also discussed too, if anything like that happens again, I think I'm going to have Derek talk to the doctor instead of me. Because one thing that's so uncomfortable for me, and I don't know about any other Black people, but I don't, it's probably true for most Black people. Nobody wants to be the Black person that's always calling out white people's crap. Like, I don't want to be calling out people's racism all the time. One, it's just exhausting. Two, like, I just don't want to be that person. Like, I just don't, it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make the other person feel good. I don't want to have that job, which is why I think shows like what we're trying to do and like other shows that are out there, you and I both like that show, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man with Emmanuel Acho. I love that show. But the reason we do these shows is so that hopefully enough people are going to start to like pick up cues and pick up a better etiquette about how to talk to people that are different than them, and realize, one, that we're not so different, and two, just like chill on the assumptions.
I was going to say, so what could have been done better in that situation?
What could have been done better?
Not you.
Oh, for him. Yeah. What could have been done better?
Especially if it's I'm sure he's not, number one, I'm going to assume you're not the only Black patient he's ever seen.
No.
But then that for any other doctor out there.
A better way to ask that question, I should have written it down, but I'm going to try to come off the cuff with it. A better way to ask that question would be, what nationality is your partner?
Okay.
Because if he's really wanting to know, for medical purposes, which I'm assuming he wasn't just random, like I said, it was random, but it wasn't, he was asking me that question for a reason.
Yeah.
He just said it in a really cringy way. Okay. So what nationality is your partner? And then let me answer, oh, my husband is white, or my husband is Black, or my boyfriend is white, or my boyfriend is Black, or my boyfriend's Mexican, whatever. Let me tell you, even though I wrote it down on all the paperwork, I'm going to let that one slide.
Human error. I always say.
Right. It's fine. It's totally fine. I know he didn't have time to like sit and sift through all the paperwork beforehand. So I let it go. That's just the person in me that's like, I came here 20 minutes early and filled out all this paperwork, and how dare you not read it? That's like the crazy person in me. So, like, do your homework, right? Do your homework.
Do it.
Anyway,
we're really not going to look at it.
Exactly. So that's one way he could have said it. And I'm trying to think of another question that I thought would have been better. Oh, he could have just said, oh no, I think that's what I landed on, was like, are you married? Are you married or single? And is your partner, and then once finding that out, okay, is your husband or is your boyfriend, what nationality is he? That's fine. Like, let me tell you. But when you just come in guns blazing, assuming that and the thing is, if I was a single mother, okay, I'm a single mother, but it's because of the stereotypes, it's because of how Black women get treated, that the question bothered me. Like, my mom was a single mom, and so I'm sure if that was her in that position, it maybe wouldn't have offended her. I don't know. But I think it's just the way that he approached it. Like, in the lobby as he's leaving for lunch, to like throw that question at me as the last question. I was like, that's weird. But anyway, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And I think that is the question. I think that is the most helpful. Like, how would I have preferred him to say that? Like that. And I give people so much slack, because I don't expect people to be perfect. I would hope that if roles were reversed, that people would cut me as much slack as I try to cut other people when they say wrong things. I don't say the right thing all the time. And I would hope that if I said something that offended somebody, that they would let me know so I don't say it again.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like really that serious.
Yeah, agreed.
Sometimes when we joke, it's pretty irreverent. And it might be offensive to some people. So we shall see how this goes. But that's
Tell us a little bit more about your podcast or about the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Just get a little deep, do a little deep dive into it.
A deep dive into it?
Yeah, the purpose.
You know, I just have a lot of opinions and I want to share them. And I think that I try to be fair and balanced about things, but really it's about healing. It's about building bridges. Like as much as I want to help myself, I want to help other people that really are just looking for answers. Not that I have all the answers at all, but I'm hoping that by sharing my experiences and my point of view on certain topics that might be divisive or might be really hard for people to understand, especially white people, I'll say non-Black people, that it will help in some way. That every episode they're going to get a little something that's going to help them just have another little tool in their tool belt that's going to help them along the way. Because we are, all of us, especially now, trying to navigate. We're all navigating this really weird time of COVID, and there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff, just at different levels. Whether you're rich or whether you're dirt poor, everybody's going through some level of something right now, and it's all relative. But so I'm just hoping that people can gain more understanding of how to be a better friend to brown people. Like, be the best friend that you can be. That's something that I would want, and so I'm hoping that there's somebody other than me that wants that too.
I like it.
So it's about as deep as I can go right now.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. Right now.
It'll get pretty deep. We may have to put a little warning sign, bring your tissue box to the next couple episodes or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. We'll have a tissue warning. Yeah, tissue warning with a little GIF. GIF or GIF?
GIF. I learned that this past weekend.
But how do you know it's GIF? How do you know it's GIF?
How do you pronounce the peanut butter company, the company that makes peanut butter?
Oh, you mean Jif that starts with a J?
Yeah, but it's really with the G.
Right. Okay, what about giraffe?
You know what? I don't know. I have a 17-year-old brother that was making fun of me saying, you're old. He's like, you're obviously old. Because you said GIF. I'm like, isn't that GIF? I'm like, that's how they taught me how to pronounce a G in kindergarten. GIF.
You're right.
GIF. Are they teaching something different in kindergarten now? GIF?
Like this new math? Like now the letters are different?
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm going to ask my brother and see what he says. Yeah. I'm going to ask Derek too.
Yeah. Look it up. I actually looked it up and it's GIF.
It's so
but I wanted to take a few seconds for today's sponsor.
The Ed Milet Show?
Oh, wait. We don't have a sponsor yet? Okay. Never mind. Let's get back to it.
Oh, we want to thank our...
Maybe the Theragun Company.
I want to thank Blue Yeti. I also want to thank Happy and Strong Incorporated. I really
want to thank Blue Chew Inc.
Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious. But
I want to thank Thermoflask for sponsoring this very first episode. And we have 0 followers, 0 likes, and we already have a sponsor. So Take that, every other YouTuber out there. We're on a roll. We're on a roll.
So next time next episode, what are we gonna talk about? It don't have to.
I'm already thinking of things.
And we may or may not have a sponsor by then. Oh, not yet. We're not getting any emails yet.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love how you're talking to our producer over there.
Our producer. If you guys saw, it's actually a Target bag just sitting on my chair in my dining room table.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, no sponsors yet. Just it's a great place to start.
It is. So cool. That was a good episode.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good start.
I'm gonna pause. Yeah, I'm gonna pause that.